When I woke to the sound of the rain hitting the window early in the morning, I should have known it was going to be a precursor to what lay ahead. But as I'd driven up the A9 into the mountains, the rain had stopped and things looked a bit more promising. And the forecast for the day was really promising. Sunshine with just some light clouds kicking about, it said the day before. But the clouds were a bit lower in the mountains when I was getting ready from the car park, and I wasn't too sure if the forecast was going to hold its promise or whether I was going to have a typical day in the Scottish Hills. Anyway, didn't think too much about it, and I got myself ready and the wee dog ready for our walk ahead. And before long we were leaving the car park and striding up the path towards the mountain for the day. Oh, hey, hello folks, right, hopefully you can make me out. Well, today is a typical Scottish summer day. There's a slight breeze coming down the glen. The temperature on the car thermometer was registering about 8 degrees when I left, and the sun is nowhere to be seen. It's gone AWOL, and the forecast for the last few days was actually for sunshine today, but broken sunshine with cloud. But yeah, it's changed. I woke up this morning, it was actually raining at home and the cloud's quite far down in the hill. So yeah, I'm going for a wee summer stroll with the dog up a Munro, which you might be able to see if the cloud wasn't covering up on the left hand side there. And I'm taking a route up which follows this bulldozed track, which makes the walking relatively easy. But I'll come off that at the Bealach and then strike up this hill, but I shall report back later on. Let's go on and enjoy it before I'm in the cloud. Right, girl, let's go. So I headed on up this bulldozed track, which I'm assuming is probably used by the local gamekeepers to get high to the mountains for the stalking season. But it provided some nice, easy terrain for the start of the walk, and we headed up under this big blanket of cloud, which seemed to be getting darker and darker the further on we went. I decided to stop just before we got to the end of the track because the cloud level was, we were almost touching the cloud at this point, so I thought, why not just stop here for a while, get a wee bite to eat before we entered the grey room and just map out what we were going to do for the rest of the day. Oh, well, I've stopped just shy of the Bealach and I've just had a wee bite to eat. Oh, there always are. We've shared a chicken sandwich, which was lovely. And I've stopped here because, I don't know if you'll make it out behind me, but just beyond me, we're just underneath the cloud level. The cloud's spilling in over the Bealach, and I know when I get up there it might be a bit more breezy, so I thought I'd stop here. It's not sheltered, but it's certainly not windy, and have a bite to eat before we head into the mist. And I'll probably talk about it a wee bit later, but when these conditions prevail and you're walking up underneath the clouds, the atmosphere does change, and when you get into the mist, that is, just something about it, just the weather and not being able to see the views and where you're going, it can change the mood of the walk. So I'll report back once we're in the cloud. But you know what, it's not warm. I think I might put I bought a new summer waterproof jacket on, which is really nice and lightweight. So I think I might put that on because there is a wee bit of moisture in there as well, and it'll give me a wee bit of shelter from the wind, because I know it's going to be breezy up there. So that's what I'll do just now. Before we head off, I shall get my waterproof jacket on and see if that helps protect me from the elements. Right, we'll report back in a wee while. Let's get this jacket on. Hold on a minute, you. Hold on. I might put my hat on as well. So with the dog champing at the bit to get going, I got my woolly hat on because it was getting cold, and that new waterproof jacket which I got it was just fantastic. It's just so small, and it crumples down to a nice tiny size in the bottom of the pack, perfect for the summer. And it was going to provide me a wee bit of waterproofness from the moisture in the air, and also some protection from the breeze, and just give me another layer to keep warm. And I tell you what, I was glad that I'd put it on here. It was almost as if the weather gods had been listening to me, because not long after I set off here, the heavens opened and it started to rain, and the rain continued for quite some time as I headed up towards the Bealach and into the Clag. The track seemed to go on, and I trekked on up it in the rain, trudging on, and the dog wasn't enjoying the rain. But before long, the track petered out at the Bealach, where there was a small lock-in. Oh, jings. Well, I think the last time I did a bit to camera, I was just getting my jacket on, and I kid you not, as soon as I got my jacket and my hat on, the rain started, and it's not stopped. So I'm glad that I've got this with me. It's working really well. It's really lightweight. I just wanted to get a lighter weight summer waterproof, and it's really doing the job. I've had it for a few months now, and it's really fantastic. So I'm glad I've got it today. Anyway, yeah, in the rain, the Clags now. We're almost in the Clag. There's a few actually. As it started to rain, the Clag lifted a wee bit. So you never know. This rain might be blowing through. Ever the optimist. Right, so from here, we're at the Bealach, we're going to head, this is where it starts to get a bit steeper, we're going to head up the hill which is called Avrakani, and I'm really hoping that we get some views. In fact, I can actually start to see some views down here. Usually you get some great views over here, and the Munro behind me, which I'm not going to bother with today, Gilles Carn, has some of the best views in this area, I think. But anyway, enough waffling. Let's gain some height and see if this weather improves. Not feeling too hopeful. Right, go on then, let's go. Crossing the Bealach, and the rain continued as I headed up into the clouds, and I soon found the path which starts to head more steeply up the side of the hill. And on this particular hill, this is the steepest part of the ascent, which takes you up the mountain. After a wee while, the mist continued, but the rain did die down a wee bit, but there was still quite a lot of moisture in that cloud as you're in the clouds, essentially. And I soon got to the top of the mountain, where it levels off into a kind of a dome with a plateau, pretty featureless. And it's these sort of conditions you really need to be pretty accurate with your navigation. And a good example of that is just coming up. I was heading up here and I saw a couple of cairns, and then noticed this one, and thinking it was the top, I set the cameras up and I thought I'll do a wee bit to camera here, just touch the cairn and walk off into the mist before settling down. But I did think at the time, that cairn doesn't look as big as it was the last time I was here. Anyway, stumbling on through the mist, thinking I was on my way down, I soon realised my mistake, and I actually came across the true summit cairn, which was only maybe 20 or 25 metres, maybe a bit more away, but obscured by the clouds. So yeah, although these hills aren't particularly difficult in terms of distance or height, you do have to be careful in these clagged out conditions. Oh, well, here I am on the summit. And this hill is called Avarkanich, and it's 975 metres and is classed as a Munro. And the last time I was here, I think it was a really early, I can't remember if I'd got up here for sunrise. It was earlier in the morning, and a beautiful, beautiful winter day, and everything was white and covered in snow. Slightly different today, and can't see a thing. Yeah, it's all clagged in, unfortunately, but you usually get relatively good views from the summit. And the defining feature of this hill is the big corrie, which I'm now skirting down to descend back down round the corrie and down the ridge back to the car. And let's say I'm going to put this in the playlist I'll put a link in the description below for maybe easier hills or short days out. It's one of the Dromachta hills, and you can actually do foreman rows here, but you know, I quite like just coming up and having a short day and going up maybe here or Gil Carn, especially in the winter. They're fantastic hills in the winter, but don't be fooled. Everything that I put into that playlist, which I'm classing as easier hills or easier under summer conditions, if it's under a coating of snow, I can tell you through experience, coming off this hill or coming up it, depending on which way you're doing it, and skirting around that quarry and just down off the summit, it's quite steep, and in certain conditions you would need ice axe and crampons and know how to use them, because they're quite a long run out into the quarry, but you don't need me to tell you that. Today I'm not going to hang around here too much. Me and Lexi are just chilling. I've wrapped her up in my duvet jacket just in case she was getting warm. I think she's okay though. In case she was getting warm, in case she was getting cold, should I say? Because it's not warm up here. But I'm kind of waffling on now, so I'm not going to hang around. I'm going to get cracked on and try and drop out of this wind and out of this clag back into the views. And once I do that, I'll report back and hopefully show you some views of where I am. So I didn't hang around at the summit. It wasn't warm, as I said. In fact, there was quite a keen wind blowing. I mean, you've got the combination of wet, cold, humid air and wind. It's not a place to loiter. And there was no views to see anyway, so down I went, and over here on my right is that corrie. It's not a place you'd want to kind of navigate by mistake down, or especially in the winter. It's quite a steep slope there. But anyway, I handrailed it, and I was soon on the path and the ridge, which was going to be leading me back down towards the car. And as I descended, I kept thinking I should be coming out of the cloud now, but I think that cloud had lowered quite significantly from the level it was at when I was going up in the morning. I don't know if you can actually make out, but I'm just about down out of the cloud now. I don't know if you can see behind me, but yeah, I've been in the cloud for most of the way around. I think it's actually lower than it was when I was going up. I think the weather's worsened. It's not raining at the moment, but it was certainly raining most of the way as soon as I put this jacket on. Anyway, I don't know if you can see down below me. I'm starting to see some views, but yeah, not what I was hoping to show you. So cue me cutting to some footage of me coming up here in the winter, so you can see how beautiful this area is, and that lovely quarry I was talking about. Just fantastic. It's a shame you can't see it in the summer, but the footage you're looking at now is a lovely winter's day, which I touched on at the summit. Anyway, it's nice. It's always nice to get out of this clag. As I said, the atmosphere can change sometimes. You sometimes see big rocks looming out of the fog, and you're thinking, is that somebody coming towards me, or something maybe a bit more sinister? Usually not. But yeah, today wasn't too bad. It's just a shortish hike, but I did spend a few hours up in that clag. So yeah, I'm going to end the video here. It's just a short hike back down to the car over there. So you know, thanks for watching. Stay safe out there as always, and I'll see you in the next adventure. Right, let's get back to the car. Shall we go, Lex? Right, let's go.